And now my favorite part, look at Gandhi's face. He's happy, he's mad. Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. The latest HOI4 DLC, Graveyard of Empires, is not what we hoped for. One thing, however, cannot be denied. Getting an evil Gandhi to rule India is a lot of fun. And this is now possible through a new secret path unlockable as Democratic India. In order for it to happen, however, you will need to carefully follow a few steps. So in this video I will explain in detail how to get it done, and I will share with you my full strategy to get a great start as Evil Gandhi. If that sounds interesting, then this is the right video for you. Of course, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask in the comments and to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. If you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving me a comment. Now this video will be split in two parts. In the first part I will give you a very quick explanation of the steps to follow in order to get Evil Gandhi. In the second part I will share with you my strategy to get Evil Gandhi quickly, easily, and with an already very powerful India to lead. So in order to get Evil Gandhi, the first thing you need to do is you need to complete this focus. Doing so will also help with the second step, as the second step is to have at least one cavalry division in the province of Delhi. And we conveniently get one as soon as the focus is completed, so you just need to move this cavalry division to Delhi. Now, the next step will be a little bit longer as it involves becoming independent. In other words, you need to raise your autonomy until you can become free. There are two possible paths to achieve that, which will be covered more in detail in the second part of the video. Regardless of the path you decide to follow, as soon as you become independent, you will get this event. In this event, you need to pick Gandhi as the ruler of the country, of course. Now we finally have Gandhi ruling the country, however, this is a good Gandhi, we want an evil one. And for that to happen, we will need to complete two more focuses. Now if you positioned your cavalry correctly, Gandhi will survive the assassination attempt. Doing so will unlock the focus I am Death, which is what gives us our beloved Evil Gandhi. Look at the portrait, and here we go, Gandhi became mad. We finally got our Evil Gandhi. Now let me say something here. This is not just a fun path for the memes. Evil Gandhi India is actually pretty strong and quite fun to play. Now, first of all, you're a democracy, but there are no elections, and that's great already. I love it. In addition to that, you can also freely justify and declare war on anyone, so you're not limited by the usual limitations of democracies. And by unlocking the next few focuses down here, you also get some pretty decent buffs. Not so much to nukes, which are fun but situational. But more importantly, you get a lot of hard attack and piercing on a lot of equipment, including your basic infantry, and you get a very nice soft attack bonus to support artillery. Alright, now that you know the main steps to become independent and to get Evil Gandhi, let me share with you my full strategy to get a very powerful India from the very start. As usual, you can find all researches and focuses in the description of this video, so I will not cover them in the video itself. And you can get access to the dedicated spreadsheet by purchasing a tier 2 membership. Now in terms of buildings, since we start with the very bad civilian economy and will not be able to get rid of it for quite a while, we're going to build infrastructures first in Delhi, West Bengal, Orissa, Bombay, followed by military factories. By the time we start building them, we will have better bonuses. Well, in terms of production, there isn't that much that you can do since we have a mighty one military factory, but we put it on infantry equip. As for our army, we can already gather it in Delhi, so later on we can just assign the cavalry to this army. And we are ready for Gandhi. We can start training them, and we can proceed to recruit another 6 infantry divisions. Now let's talk about the occupation law. I would recommend going with the local police force, but there is something to consider here. Now, if you go down the path that I will go down, which is the two nations theory, you are much faster. You get a lot more autonomy, and especially when you complete this focus, you get a very nice 500 points towards autonomy, which makes it much easier to become independent before World War II. Now keep in mind that you need to become free before World War II, otherwise the UK will call you into the war against the Axis and you cannot refuse it if you're a Dominion. So achieving that with the two-nation theory is easy. It's much harder if you go for India United. So one of the little tricks that you can use to become independent a little bit faster is to trigger revolts in your occupied territories. India starts with quite a bit of occupied territories, and if you trigger revolts there, you will trigger small civil wars, and for each one that you win, you get some contributed war score points, which will increase your autonomy. So a strategy which is not the one I'm developing would be to trigger all of these civil wars one by one, quickly end them, and get a lot of autonomy that way. This would definitely not be needed because the two-nation theory is a much better path overall. You get better bonuses, and in the end you even get to unlock these amazing bonuses here. You get more resource gain, but especially construction speed and research speed for the rest of the run. And that's quite a lot, 15% and 12%. There would basically be no disadvantage with this path, because the only thing that happens is that you lose part of your country to Pakistan. But you lose the part of your country which is not your core. It's all occupied states. You can then easily justify on Pakistan, take them down, and re-annex them. The only issue with that is that it is currently bugged. Now, the famine event here in the description says that a famine will trigger if we lose a core territory and fail to take it back within 30 days, or if Burma loses a core territory and we are not at war with them. So, in theory, losing stuff to Pakistan, declaring war on them and taking them should not trigger the famine, since none of the land that goes to Pakistan is a core of India. Yet, for some reason, the famine event triggers the second you declare war on Pakistan. You don't even have the 30 days buffer to take them down. You just get the famine right away. I would consider this to be a bug, and I hope that Paradox fixes it soon, so I would still recommend going down the two-nation theory in the hope that they do fix the bug. But if the bug is not fixed, there is another tricky strategy that you can use. And the strategy would be to trigger a revolt in one of the occupied territories as fast as possible by selecting no garrison and by picking the events that increase the resistance, and let them free for 30 days so that they trigger the famine event. So we get a very early famine event. You can probably get it in early 1936. Since the famine event lasts for about 2 years, you will be rid of it more or less when you become independent in 1939. So if there is no way to avoid the famine, then that would be a better choice. Get the famine right away, so you get it out of the way and you don't have to worry about it later. But again, I do hope that Paradox at least fixes the mess that they caused with this DLC, so hopefully this will not be necessary. That being said, let's go back to what in my opinion is the best strategy for the two-nation theory. We're going to hand over Aden, so we get some autonomy and an extra civilian factory. Now, in all of these events, our primary goal for this strategy is to avoid 100% resistance, but also to preserve compliance whenever we can, so that later on we can core more easily in the territories that we take. So in this case, for example, this choice is better because we have no compliance and we only get 20% resistance. When you have some compliance and you want to preserve it, though, make sure that picking the upper one doesn't send you above 100%. We're going to pick Victor Hope. At 150 political power, we are going to pick Gandhi as our independence activist. Now, the primary goal in the early game is to get as much daily autonomy progress as possible, so we are prioritizing that on our focuses as well as on our advisors. Next, at 150 political power, we are going to pick the anti-colonial humanist for some extra political power as well as daily autonomy. Now, when you get an event like this, preserve the stability and political power over compliance, so go with the last choice. At 100 political power, we're going for improved worker conditions to boost our stability. Okay, in this case, to save compliance, I will go for the extra resistance. At 100 political power, we're going to pick the army reformer to start farming some army experience. The default MIO priority for guns, but later on you will unlock these ones through special focuses, so you should pick these ones too. At 150 political power, we are going for the well-mannered Iman. At 150 political power, we're going to pick the central bank. As soon as you complete this focus, you will get a cavalry division. It's very important that you assign it to your main army and that it moves to Delhi, as this will be one of the requirements to save Gandhi and make him evil. Now, after the Anschluss of Austria, right away or shortly after, you should be able to get to 25% war support, and as soon as possible you should pick partial mobilization. There we go, we are at 25% war support, let's go for partial mobilization. After completing this focus, you will have a few days before you can become a dominion, so pick no focus for just a few days, as soon as possible. Change your autonomy to dominion, and you can now pick the next focus down here. At 100 political power, we're going to pick ground support to start farming some air experience. And at 75 political power, we're going to pick radio propaganda. At this time, we're also going to change our production slightly. So we're going to dedicate one factory to support equipment, artillery, trucks, and trains. We are going to take them all away from infantry equip. Then as soon as possible, we're also going to add the production of anti-air. We're going to change our default inf template by adding these support companies. So engineers, artillery, and as soon as possible, anti-air. Here is the artillery priority. Now, when you get enough political power and autonomy to become free, make sure to wait until you complete this focus. You do want to reduce the debuff, so you need to complete the focus first. As soon as the focus is done, you become free. There we go. Focus complete. We can become free. We are now India. And we're going to split from Pakistan. Here we go. This means we will have to pick some new decisions soon. But first of all, it's very important that we, of course, pick Gandhi to rule our country. So there we go. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to start building more military factories in all of the 100% provinces. We're also going to change the occupation law to local autonomy. We need to increase the compliance so that later on we can core all of these regions. Now, we also got a new event and some new decisions, although the icons are the same, so make sure you click on the right ones. We get these new decisions to peacefully integrate some of these states. And the idea here is to take 3 of them and leave Pakistan 2 of them. So we're going to ignore this one and northern half of Kashmir. So we're going to pick the decision here, here, and here. And we're going to do it 3 times, but 3 times in here and 2 times in here. So make sure to do it on cooldown. Meanwhile, Gandhi survived the assassination because we had the cavalry in there, which means we also unlocked the new focus, I Am Death, which we're going to pick right after this one. At 100 political power, we're going to pick the military theorist, and we're going to start picking the doctrines. We want to go for superior firepower here, or at least that would be my suggestion, especially if you try to rush these 2 amazing doctrines. And that will fit our Evil Gandhi quite well, because he gets some bonuses to overwhelming fire tactics here. As we complete this focus, we can force deploy our infantry, and we can make sure that all of the 24 divisions we now have are infantry divisions. We can also keep training them all the way up to regular. More importantly, we can pick the I Am Death focus. As this event completes, we should peacefully take the states we talked about. Now, we left this one to Pakistan on purpose because we have a claim on this state, meaning later on when we justify on Pakistan, we will get our claim a bit faster. And now my favorite part, look at Gandhi's face. He's happy, he's mad. We got Mad Gandhi, and that's the end for this shorter country guide. But you're in the perfect spot to start a very fun run as India. Unfortunately, it is quite late. It's basically World War II time, so we got Evil Gandhi in charge just before World War II. But that's the way with this new DLC, unfortunately. Other than the East India Company, all of the other India starts are pretty slow, so nothing much we can do about that. And again, as I was mentioning earlier, you have some very nice buffs that you can get here. I would though go for this one first and then probably for India Indivisible. As I was mentioning earlier, we are now an evil democracy, so we have no elections and we can justify war goals on anyone. Especially we can get our claimed state in Pakistan. Pakistan is very weak, so you can easily take them. And that's why the 2-nation theory is much better in my opinion. It's just one easy war in which you take everything you lost. And you achieve independency a lot faster. Again, the only issue with that is the famine that shouldn't be triggering, but still triggers. Let's leave the save here and hopefully they will fix it soon. And we can continue this run, have a lot of fun with our Evil Gandhi without the issue of the famine. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. But please let me know in the comments if you find anything else that can be optimized, any other ways to become independent even faster. And if you do continue this run despite the famine bug, well, I would recommend maybe not going after Pakistan. The other countries around us should not trigger the famine. We have a few options. There is Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, Afghanistan, and Iran that you can probably conquer without issues. In any case, if you do continue, let me know how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and again, leaving me a comment. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye bye!